Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. It's the Eradicator, and the time has come, guys, to finally review the ongoing patch that's live in the PU, Star Citizen Alpha 3.14. And now, if you are new to the channel or if you are not following it closely, this is something I have done on this channel since Star Citizen Alpha 3.3.5. I didn't do it for 3.3 because I was waiting for Hurston. And so, in those reviews, I go over different changes and features that are implemented in the latest patch. I give them a mark, and then I add everything up to give the patch a final score. And sure, there have been some people who have criticized this process because they say that we can't mark a product that is not final, but I disagree with that because CIG sells Star Citizen as a playable product, and so I believe that as a playable product that is being sold, Star Citizen ought to be regularly evaluated, not as a final review, but more as a means to evaluate the player experience backers should expect to have at this particular and present time. Now, before we go on, it's giveaway time. That's right, thanks to Dr. Forbin, we don't have one constellation Taurus, but two, and so we decided to give one today by mid-month, since there will be another one at the end of the month. So here we go. Let's have a look at the winning video first, and then we'll get a comment picked from one of those comment pickers. So let's go. And we are, of course, at the Wheel of Names, which is more like the Wheel of Days here, because I've put a day for each of the videos that I've released so far, and it looks like we are going to get August 11th. All right, well, that's the video that will be chosen here. And so if you have posted a comment on that video, the particular video, which was this one right here, Star Citizen 3.14.0x, PTU devs tackling desync and other annoying issues. Well, if you have commented on one of those in that video, and if you have answered the giveaway question, which was, by the way, what is the most annoying bug that you have found in 3.14, well, you will get a chance to get a shot here at that beautiful constellation Taurus. And no, this is not a Taurus, it's an Andromeda. Anyway, let's pick the comments right here. We have the video selected already, 197 comments, 220, so we have a lot of answers and replies. I need to make sure I filter duplicate users here. There we go. Let's get the comments right here. That makes a total of 192 comments. And so it is now time to pick a random winner. We don't want to see French commercials. Let's get rid of this. And let's start here. Let's pick a winner. And so the winning comment is from Jose Javier Galvez Gomez, who says the worst bug, the ship screens, at least on the Saber, they stopped working and I can't change or see anything. Let's have a look. Let's see if Jose, and unfortunately, no, Jose, you are not a subscriber of this channel. I have said it in every video. Please be a public subscriber of this channel, because if you are not, I cannot verify. I cannot see. Normally I have a little icon that shows that you are, like you can see Kobe42 below, or Solid Create, right, or JB Marks. That little red icon tells me if you are a subscriber or not. Joseph here is the next one, but unfortunately no talk about ship claims. That is not the answer to the giveaway question. The question was which bug is the worst bug in Star Citizen Alpha 3.14. Sorry. But the next one, Gargotron here. At least we are constantly working on it. Personally, I only had a handful of bugs in 3.14 so far. Gargotron has been a member of the Patreon community since, I mean, this is my first Patreon ever, and of course I know he is a subscriber of the channel as a result. Congratulations, Gargotron, you just got yourself a constellation Taurus from Dr. Forbin. So all you have to do is to contact Dr. Forbin in the Irad Club, since you are also a member of the Irad Club. And I'm so happy that you ended up with the winner. And again, I have said it in every video, guys, please make sure that you are a public subscriber of the channel. If your settings are not set to public, I cannot verify if you are a subscriber or not. Alright, and we also have another Constellation Taurus coming up at the end of the month, with also all of the gift cards here from Dragon Ghost. Thank you so much, Dragon Ghost, by the way, for helping this community. Guys, it's now time to review Star Citizen Alpha 3.14 now. And so, let's talk about bug fixes first. Star Citizen Alpha 3.14 is bringing its fair amount of bug fixes, especially bugs that were introduced into 3.13 that players really found annoying. One of the most frustrating of these bugs, in my eyes, was the fact that Miles' cart missions were not working at all. No matter how hard I tried, I never managed to get a call from him, which would have allowed me to fight that nice Idris at the end of the mission chain. And apparently, it was a bug in the patch notes that says that has been fixed. As of right now, still haven't been called by Mouse, but a lot of my friends have, and so this seems to have been fixed indeed. Another thing that annoyed me a lot was weapons disappearing from their lockers. I mean, I know that it sounds trivial for a lot of you, but as an FPS player, I really enjoy collecting the weapons I find at various locations, especially at Security Post Corée, and I stored them in my ship. And in 3.13, they would end up disappearing, but this has been fixed in 3.14. Also, it looks like CIG fixed the crashing to planet while in quantum travel bug. I mean, again. This has happened to me a few times in 3.13, and luckily trade is not a viable profession right now, so we're not hauling millions of Alpha UC worth of cargo holds anymore. But still, if this had been the case, I think that a lot of people would have been very salty about this bug. And last but not least, if you are flying a large ship, like the Karak for example, your ship should no longer get stuck when you are trying to auto-land. This is also worth noting, as this was yet again one of the most annoying bugs that ruined your player experience, especially if this was only your ship or your main ship. And in the end, I think that it would be unfair to say that CIG didn't spend a lot of time fixing bugs for this patch, because they did, and they still are, as 3.14 went back into the PTU and is now in its Z patch. However, as we'll talk about in the overall quality category, these were perhaps not the bugs that we were looking for, and so I will give this category a 5 out of 10. Talking about quality of life now, there's been quite a lot of good additions to the quality of life improvements here in Star Citizen of 3.14, especially in regards to the law system, which is hopefully going to send less law-abiding citizens in jail. Underground facilities no longer give you a trespass warning, which is great when you are a bounty hunter, you are after a target trying to erase their crime stat, but criminals will also enjoy being able to kill law enforcement officers in non-monitored zones without getting additional crime stat too. This makes sense, and we should definitely rejoice to benefit from that in this patch. The new ship HUD is a great improvement in my opinion, as well, as it makes UI information more readable in your ship, and it overall looks better sorted. In addition, miners will be able to detect mineable rocks from a further distance, which will make their job a little bit easier and allow them to be more effective. They've also increased the text size for ship ICUs so that they are now more visible and easier to click on. And I really appreciate this attention to detail. I think that the devs really made an effort to improve their quality of life in 3.14, and it was reported also several times in ISC episodes and on Spectrum too. And if we can, this can actually be easily confirmed by playing the game, as these changes are very noticeable. This part, therefore, gets a good 8 out of 10. Moving on to game-changing elements now, and Star Citizen feels like it has changed a lot in 3.14. Not because of gameplay, which is still the same old, right, unfortunately, but because of how you fly ships in the game, which has been dramatically altered thanks to the power management system, which we've covered a lot on this channel. They've also reworked how ships fly based on different ship classes too, which, in my opinion, makes total sense. The Missile Operator mode is also a great addition in my opinion, as it fixed the usage of missiles, which was unintuitive and quite janky. I also love the fact that it can be used by a co-pilot, which gives a co-pilot something to do at last. I wish actual missions were added to the game, or something else to do other than combat and mining, and that's why this part gets only a 9 instead of a 10 out of 10. Talking about overall quality, and this is the part where it hurts. I'm sorry CIG, but a patch that for some people forces a character reset after each play session, and yes, this has happened to some people, is a digital disaster and should never have been released to the public. I understand that there should be deadlines and that the patch was already late, but Star Citizen Alpha 3.14 features way too many game-breaking bugs for a live build. We're talking about unclaimable ships, mission AI NPCs that don't spawn, missions that don't refresh, desync that's so bad that your ship appears to randomly blow when it shouldn't. Oh, and what about the Ninetale events that looks to be activated on the star map but nothing is happening? That's very frustrating too. And speaking of frustrations, we can also mention long time frustrations such as the quantum travel bug, which is still there and forces you to restart the spooling procedure multiple times until it eventually works. I mean, it is so bad that at one time one of my friends managed to quantum travel for 9 million kilometers until my ship finally decided to jump. And how about trade? I know that trade will see a complete overhaul eventually, one day. in the future. But yet, CIG thinks that this is an excuse to keep the profession in its current poor state. It is so bad that when the Ninetales event is up, it is impossible to buy any medical supplies for the station that's been blockaded. And people who do manage to buy some have reported that they're unable to sell it at the station. But please, let me know in what has been your experience with quality of life in this patch, as this is the giveaway question. As far as I'm concerned, I have found it to be horrendous, and so I will give it a 2 out of 10. 1 point being for Horizon and Crusader experience being relatively enjoyable and stable, and the other is for the relative low amount of 30k errors that we've had, given the heavy load added to the server with the addition of Crusader and Horizon. Next, it's time to talk about punctuality. I think it's really important because we also need to hold CIG accountable for releasing their patches on time, right? And so normally I give a 5 out of 10 when the patch is released on its deadline, meaning the last day of the quarter, with each additional week of delay removing 1 point and each additional week ahead of time adding 1 point. That's why, for example, 3.12, which was released 2 weeks ahead of time, got a 7 out of 10. However, given the fact that 3.14 adds gas giants with volumetric clouds, something that has never been seen before in gaming, I gave them a free pass for an extra 2 weeks because it obviously needed some optimization. That being said, even with that bonus time, Alpha 3.14 still gets a 2 out of 10 as it was released 3 weeks after, and still is as I'm writing those lines in the PTU. As we saw earlier, the patch still feels very broken, requires a lot of character resets, something that should not be happening in a live release. Next, we'll talk about features, and we'll start here with the added features of Star Citizen Alpha 3.14. And well, let's see here what they have. So, well, I think that it's fair to say that Star Citizen is not one of those patches that would overwhelm players with new content. However, it's not 3.13 bad either. Just like 3.13, we only have location, gameplay, and ship and vehicles items, but on top of that, we also have one core type item in the presence of volumetric clouds. Star Citizen Alpha 3.13's release view featured 25 entries, but a lot of those were roadmap padding, like one card for each delivery mission, or they were items that should have been single lines in the patch notes, like the non-commercial overlays, for example. 3.14's roadmap entries are less numerous, but far more impactful, as you will see later, and so I'll give this part a 4 out of 10. It should have been given more, but most of the patch was delayed to 3.15, which is looking to be very crowded in terms of features as a result. We don't have any characters, but we have locations, and Star Citizen Alpha 3.14 brings a floating city in the clouds and a fully explorable gas giant, a unique feature in all of video gaming. So enough said here, this gets a 10 out of 10. There is no AI, but we'll talk about gameplay here, and it's great to see all of the new gameplay elements added to Star Citizen, and they do add a lot of to the overall game experience. Sure, they may not be as fun as new missions or new professions, but they add a lot of depth and complexity, which is why I give these features a well-deserved 8 out of 10. Let's talk to ships now, or about ships, and as much as I am happy to see the Constellation lineup finished, I still wonder why it took so many years to finish the Taurus. It's also the only ship we have in this patch, and it's not even a new ship but a variant, and sure, it is very well done and makes a lot of people happy, but that's basically it. The mark is also reduced because the co-pilot is basically useless, as there's a huge screen that blocks the view and the missile operator is unusable from the co-pilot's seat. What a shame. 2 out of 10. Last, we'll talk about core tech now at the end, and volumetric clouds make their way into Star Citizen. It's just the first iteration, of course, but it already looks promising, and I cannot wait to see how it will develop as it gets expanded to other planets with more complex weather, such as lightning, rain, or snow. It's also a complicated feature to create, with very few games having it, and this is why CIG gets a 7 out of 10 here. Add it all up, and the features of Star Citizen Alpha 3.14 gets a 6 out of 10, which is a decent score for a patch that does not have a lot of features. And so, the final score for Star Citizen Alpha 3.14 is 5.5 out of 10, which is much better than the 2.5 out of 10 I gave to Star Citizen Alpha 3.13. And sure, 3.13 was more playable, but 3.14 is adding a lot to the project that the developers will be able to build upon. To me, 3.14 is nothing but a transition patch with the meat and potatoes scheduled to be coming later this year. And so that's all for this review. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this content, please consider leaving this video a like and subscribe to the channel for dailies. A big shout out to Tristan Sullivan for being my latest Join Button member, as well as JMac115 for using the referral code in the description down below. Let's not forget Tala, Dr. Forbin, and Ericon for their kind contribution on Patreon as well. I wish you all guys a wonderful day. This is The Eradicator. I'll see you guys later. This video is brought to you by the people who support this channel on Patreon and via the join button as well. Supporters of the channel get access to lots of cool perks such as access to my private Discord, your question answered in the show, you get to know when I'm going to play, and also you get to have a chance to influence the editorial line of the channel. Any help is appreciated, starts at just $1 a month. Thank you very much for watching. This is The Eradicator, and I'll see you guys later.